Most people pick the wrong franchise for the same reason, and they don't even realize it until they're knee-deep in losses, scratching their heads wondering what went wrong. The truth? Finding the right franchise isn't a guessing game, it's a calculated process. And if you follow the wrong process, it doesn't matter how hard you hustle, you're just speeding down the wrong road. Today, I'm breaking down the 2 biggest mistakes most people make when choosing a franchise. Mistakes that destroy investments. And then I'll show you the 4-step blueprint to actually get it right. Let's get stuck into it. The biggest trap most people fall into? Following the do what you love mantra. People buy franchises based on their passions or what they love all the time. They're obsessed with fitness, so they dive headfirst into opening a gym. Or they're dog lovers, so they think, you know what, I'll start a doggy daycare empire. And don't get me wrong, passion is great. Passion gets you out of bed in the morning. Being passionate about the business in itself is critical. But if you think passion for the widget alone is the primary ingredient needed in finding the perfect franchise, you might be setting yourself up for disaster. So let me hit you with a real-world example of how passion-driven franchising turned into a billion-dollar disaster. That brand, F45 Training. Now, like me, this brand was born in Australia and started franchising in 2015. And they exploded onto the scene like a fitness hurricane. They had everything going for it. They surged past 1,500 locations, signed deals in 60 countries, and even bagged an A-list celebrity as an investor, Mr. Marky Mark. After founding the Wahlburger franchise, he developed a genuine passion for the franchise model. The repeatability, the scalability, the community, the ability to create wealth at scale. So when he saw the F45 training investment opportunity, he went all in. Repping the brand, hyping it up, touring locations, he even helped take the company public. In 2021, F45 IPO'd on the New York Stock Exchange with a valuation of $1.4 billion. It was one of the biggest and fastest growing franchises on the planet. But behind the scenes, things weren't as healthy as the hit workouts happening in the studio. There was franchisee turnover, with studio closings mounting by the month. And by 2022, the cracks were wide open. The stock plummeted over 70% in less than a year, the CEO resigned, and the company reduced its corporate staff by over 50%. And in Australia, at one point, 10% of all open franchise locations were put on the market to resell, as franchisees were desperate to get out. So how did this happen? Among a few things, F45 fell victim to what I call the passion trap. People who love fitness, but had zero business experience. And they were lining up to buy franchises. And F45, well, they made it look easy. And yeah, I mean, the concept was simple. Group classes, global brands, celebrity endorsement. But passion alone isn't enough to run a franchise. The reality, you need to sell memberships, build a sales-driven culture, immerse yourself in the community and network, and manage a tight P&L, especially in the hyper-competitive fitness space. So many franchisees weren't prepared and lacked the right skills. Here's the lesson. Just because you love something doesn't mean it'll love you back with profits. Do what you love and the money will follow. That's great for motivational speakers. But business, that's ruled by supply and demand. The market doesn't care if you have a passion for the business. If you can't supply something that customers want in the way in which they want it, then passion alone won't pay the bills. Picking a franchise solely because you love the product or industry it's in isn't the only bad way to identify the right franchise for you. Another way to increase your chance of failure is to pick a franchise based on what we call the market demand myth, or the "this would crush it in my town" strategy. I've seen too many failed franchise investments that were born from the sentence, "this brand would crush it in my market." And I hate to break it to you, mate, but that's how a lot of very broke franchise owners started out. You see, there's a problem with perceived demand. Just because something looks like it's in demand doesn't mean it's actually profitable. Let me give you an example here. Let's flash back to 2010, where frozen yogurt was everywhere. Brands like Menchie's, Red Mango, and Pinkberry were popping up out of nowhere. People loved the long lines, the Instagrammable cups, the low-calorie toppings. Even all the way back in Australia, everyone was frothing for Froyo. Aspiring franchise owners thought this would crush it in my hometown and quickly got on board. But behind the long lines, the unit economics never really made sense. There was a low cost per ticket, high rent, and competition became insane. And what happened next? Well, within a few years, stores started closing down left, right, and center. At Red Mango alone, more than 50% of all open locations started to close. So what's the lesson? Market interest doesn't mean market viability. The idea that something would crush it in your town is about as worth as much as a wet napkin, unless you've actually seen the numbers. You need proven financials from the franchisor, data from comparable markets, and a crystal clear understanding of overhead, margins, and break even. If the numbers suck, it doesn't matter if your whole neighborhood says they show up every day. Spoiler alert, they won't. You don't want to be the bloke or Sheila who opens up 2025's version of a Froyo franchise. Righto, we've figured out the 2 worst ways to pick a franchise. Now let's talk about how the smart franchisees do it. This is the 4-part framework that I use with friends and aspiring franchise owners to better ensure they actually build wealth through franchise ownership, not destroy it. So step 1, start with your goals. Most people start by asking, what franchise should I buy? But that might not be the best question. A better question? What kind of life do I want to build? Before you even glance at franchise opportunities, you need to build your own blueprint. And here's how. Think about 3 things. First, lifestyle goals. What do you want your day to look like? Are you building a business so you can hit the golf course at noon on Tuesdays? Or do you want to actually roll up your sleeves and get in the grind of running your business? 2, financial goals. What's your dream number? And no, I'm not talking about some vision board with a mansion and a yacht. I'm talking about cold, hard, realistic numbers. Are you looking for cash flow to cover the bills? Or are you swinging for the fences with multi-unit ownership? Ownership style. Are you the hands-on operator type? The one obsessing over P&Ls and training staff? Or do you want something that makes you money while you keep your day job? Now here's where 99% of franchise buyers get it wrong. They get all hyped up about a brand and never actually compare their goals against the franchise model. Let's play a little game of dump it. If you want a lifestyle business where you're not chained to a storefront, but you're looking at a retail franchise that's open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, dump it. If you want scalable returns, but you're considering a 1,000 unit franchise with limited territory availability, dump it. If you want lower risk, but you're chasing some 5 location, 1-year-old franchise brand that's got less credibility than a Nigerian Prince email, dump it. Here's the golden rule. You don't find the right franchise by guessing. You find it by aligning your goals to the franchise model. So now that you have a clear vision for how you want your life to be as a franchise owner, let's move into step 2, where we budget like a pro. There are 3 rules to budgeting properly. First, hope for the best, plan for the worst. When you start talking to a franchisor, they're going to hand you a franchise disclosure document, which is hundreds of pages on how the franchise works, your role, and most importantly, costs. Here's what you need to know. That document will tell you how much you can expect to invest. It provides a range, representing what franchisees have actually spent to get their doors open. Here's the move. Plan for the high end. If the range is $250,000 to $400,000, for example, plan on spending $400,000. Why? Because it's way better to be pleasantly surprised if you come in under than to be scrambling for cash before you even open. Rule number 2 is to double the working capital estimate. Whatever the franchisor says you'll need for the first 3 to 6 months of working capital, double it. Most franchisors underrepresent this number. It's not bad intentions usually, it's just that most franchisees burn through cash faster than expected. And third, plan to invest at least 30% of your own cash. If you're looking for outside funding, plan on putting in at least 30% of your own money. Most solid funding options will cover the rest, but lenders want to see you have skin in the game. The bottom line, plan for worst case scenarios, because when the numbers work even on a bad day, you're setting yourself up for real success. Step 3 is to match your skill. Now, step 3 to me is the most important and underrated step of the entire process. Match your skills. You see, a franchise isn't a lottery ticket, it's a business. And the best way to win in business? Bet on a game you already know how to play. So here's your first move. Do a skill set self-audit. What does that mean? Well, go back and look at your career. What skills have you actually mastered? Not just dabbled in, but got paid for. Why does this matter? Because the economy's already proven people are willing to exchange money for those skills that you have. So why reinvent the wheel? Think about it. Are you great at managing people, closing big deals, staying organized while everyone else is losing their heads, building a customer base from scratch? Whatever it is, write it down. That's your gold mine. Now here's where most people mess it up. They don't validate their skills against the franchise they're looking at. So here's how you do that. Call the franchisees and ask, what do you spend most of your time doing? What skills make someone succeed here? And what does a day in the life actually look like? Then ask yourself, is that me? If the answer's no, don't force it. Even if the brand's hot, even if your mate says it's the next big thing, if the top franchisees are killers on the phone and you hate sales, that's a hard pass. If the best owners thrive on leading teams and you love building people up, now we're talking. Here's a golden rule. The franchise's best performers should have the exact same skill sets as you do. Step 4, match your culture. So by this point, you've mapped out your goals, nailed your budget, and audited your skills like a pro. But if you miss this next step, you could still end up hating your life. Because even if a franchise is profitable, if the vibe is off, you're going to feel like a misfit in your own business. Enter culture fit. Every brand has a culture. Some are loud, some are progressive, some are sales-driven, others are soft, collaborative, or community-focused. Neither is wrong. But the wrong one for you, that's a nightmare in a logo. And there are ways to identify a culture mismatch before you invest and make this painful mistake. Firstly, start with the company core values and mission. Does it resonate? Pay close attention to the marketing and the franchisee video testimonials. Do they sound like they see the world the same way as you? And the good news is that every brand has some sort of in-person meeting, often called a discovery day, where you can visit their HQ and really start to learn more about the people and the brand, and whether you fit that culture and community.
Hello, welcome to my franchise. Why you want to be a franchisee?
Well, I'm looking for an asset-light model with strong EBITDA margins. I'm targeting high ROI, strong LTC to CAC ratios, and about a 5 to 7 year horizon for the next liquidity event. Am I in the right place?
I like to do arts and I like to sing Frozen all day.
Do I have to sing?
You need to sing all day and grade this all day. You need to sign this. You're going to have $50,000.
Yeah, I think I'm in the wrong franchise system.
You know what my franchise? Turn this.
Turn this?
It's for this. Yeah.
The lesson here, don't just look at the numbers, look at the humans behind them. Because you're not just joining a system, you're joining a tribe. So there it is. You want to build real wealth through franchising, not just burn cash chasing the latest hype? You've got to nail all 4 boxes. Your goals, the numbers, your skills, and a culture fit. Miss even one of these? You're setting yourself up for pain, frustration, and disaster. But when you hit all 4, you're way more likely to own a business that gives you a better life, keeps you happy, and actually makes you money. If you want to keep learning how to find franchises that actually make you money, smash that like button and subscribe. Because I got franchise recommendations dropping soon, and you don't want to miss what's coming next.